Hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Enhancing Regulatory Compliance Through an Integrated Approach. My name is Tobias Schroeder, and I'm an International Product and Market Manager here at SoftExpert. Today's webinar will be presented by Mr. Gus Oliveira. Gus has over 10 years' experience in the financial and business development field, working in large companies both in the United States and in Brazil, as a financial analyst, business strategy consultant, and a project consultant. I wish you all a great webinar. Hello, Gus.
Hello, Tobias. Thank you very much for the introduction. I would like to take this opportunity to thank everyone for taking part and downloading this webinar. Well, folks, this is the agenda with the topics that will be presented today. Let's start by presenting the results of the certification survey that is conducted annually by ISO. When we talk about certification processes, whether for quality, environmental, or health and safety, people often ask, why does our company need to be certified? In this webinar, we'll discuss the motivators and the benefits your company can achieve with a certification. When companies implement multiple regulatory standards, many of them still treat each initiative in an isolated way. So let's talk about the difficulties of this model. Moving forward, we'll address the issue about integrated systems and the benefits provided by it. And to close this webinar, we'll show that even though implementing new standards is not an easy task, this can be much easier when you're using an enterprise software solution. Every year, ISO conducts surveys of certifications issued to the standards of its management system. The survey shows the number of valid certificates that are issued annually in each country. This table presents the consolidated information of the 9 main ISO responsibility standards. The number of companies with quality certifications such as ISO 9001 and ISO 13485 had a small reduction of 0.2 and 0.1% respectively if we compare to the numbers of 2014 and 2015. However, overall the scenario is positive. Certifications in environmental management system, for example, ISO 14001, grew 8%, while certifications in the energy management system, such as ISO 50000 or 50001, increased by 77%. On average, the growth was of 3%. So more than 43,000 certifications were issued, totaling over 1.5 million certified companies. There are many reasons why companies need to meet a standard. Many firms, for example, are suppliers to large companies that impose quality and environmental requirements on their supply chain. So, many companies, they need a certification to comply with one or more customer requirements. In many cases, these requirements can only be met by implementing a management system and being certified. For ISO 9001, for example, one of the quality management principles that are the foundation of this standard is to improve customer satisfaction by planning for and striving to meet customer requirements. By improving your customer satisfaction, you will retain more customers because, a happy customer and a satisfied customer are the key to keeping their loyalty. And such customers, they will bring in additional revenues. Another reason is to meet shareholder expectations. Shareholders from all different types of companies, they want to reduce costs. This is a fact of life in today's world economy. An environmental management system can help you with cost control. The first way is that this can happen by using your system to identify, control, and reduce the number of environmental incidents that occur, which can cost your company through liability costs of fines, cleanup, reparations, and much more. Secondly, you can use the improvement aspect of the environmental management system to help you reduce costs by working to conserve the energy and input materials required by your company's processes. Another aspect that forces many companies to obtain certification is the requirement for them to provide for some industries. One example is in the auto part industry, which you need the IATF 16949 certification in order to provide parts to the automotive manufacturers. Many companies need to comply with local laws and regulations for environment, occupational health, and safety. Companies can try to follow all applicable laws before implementing an environmental or quality management system, but the standard itself can make it a lot easier to achieve and maintain your compliance. With the market becoming increasingly more competitive, companies are still struggling to increase productivity. Executives are concerned in making the business more efficient, control its costs, and develop new products that consumers want. In parallel, companies also need to demonstrate their concern for the environment, as well as ensure the health and safety of its employees. Several standards have emerged to help companies overcome these challenges. Today, it is common for companies to comply with more than just one standard or regulation. Here, we highlight some of the best-known standards in the market today. ISO 9001 is one of the most well-known quality standards. It provides guidance and tools for companies and organizations who want to ensure that their products and services constantly meet customers' requirements and that quality is consistently improved. If your company is a publicly traded company in the U.S., you will have to be compliant with the Sarbanes-Oxley Act. Health funds and health-related organizations in the United States, they also have to comply with the demands of the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, also known as the HIPAA. If your company belongs to a segment such as the oil and gas segment, electricity and water, utilities, air, rail transport systems, public facilities, manufacturing, natural resources industry, you may have heard of ISO 5500. This is one of the newest standards. It was released in January of 2014. It involves the coordinated and optimized planning, asset selection, acquisition and development, utilization, maintenance, and ultimate disposal or renewal of the appropriate assets and asset systems. Each regulation poses a unique opportunity for firms to pursue improvements in serving their investors as well as boosting efficiency across their entire organization. Many companies are trying to implement these standards but are not sure what might be the most efficient approach. So, what is the best strategy to overcome this challenge? As I already mentioned in previous slides, customer requirement is one of the reasons why companies seek a certification. So let's imagine that a customer tells you that it will only do business with your company if you get ISO 9001 certified. A classic strategy to meet this requirement is to begin the process through a standalone implementation. The first step is to choose people and a structure for your quality department. These people will be responsible for defining QMS processes such as the training process, document control, internal audit, risk assessment, and many others. Now, imagine that your company has decided to expand its operations to another market, for example, but you can only do business if your environmental management system is certified. Many companies will follow the same model, composing a new team, defining new processes for EHS trainings, document control, internal audit, and others. And if for some reason the company still needs a new certification, such as ISO 45001, AS 9100, IATF 16949, or any other, it is possible to once again adapt this strategy. Many organizations make isolated and disconnected decisions. As a result, they manage these standards and regulations on an individual basis, which leads to lack of consistency across the entire enterprise. Several organizations are implementing these standards through different teams. Processes are repeated, according to the number of standards which the company needs to meet. Often, inadequate technological tools are also adapted in order to meet the process minimally, not guaranteeing full compliance with the requirements. Many times, they're using different methodologies and tools that do not communicate, even within the same company. In addition to this, the accelerated proliferation of spreadsheets and documents in varying standards also occurs to meet the requirements of these regulations. It's like the pieces of a puzzle that just do not fit together. The end result of the sum of these practices is an avalanche of disconnected and even duplicated tools and controls, which make it impossible to build an integrated model of practical, productive, and effective management that supports and promotes organizational excellence. Implementing a quality standard is very time-consuming and requires leaders to be very dedicated. If a company implements ISO 9001, for example, leaders must design and publish a quality policy as well as set goals. They should ensure that the quality management system is planned and implemented. It's also up to them to define the authorities, responsibilities, and all the processes necessary for the operation of the system and the realization of the product. Once the system is up and running, leaders must continue to be involved, contributing, analyzing, and criticizing the system through critical review meetings. Finally, they must ensure the resources that are required to meet all of the requirements of the system and of the product, as well as to increase customer satisfaction. Now, just imagine a company that needs to be certified in, let's say, 3 ISO standards. In this typical approach, the effort is triple, and that is certainly not what leaders want. They will be very disappointed in having to do the same thing 3 times. The confusion that results from not integrating standards extends to other areas of the company as well. For example, engineering involving the product development team. For ISO 9001, when developing a new product, engineers, they need to conduct studies to identify what can go wrong, how severe will be the effect, how frequent the defect cause occurs, and current controls available. To meet ISO 14001 requirements, they will need to stop their jobs once again to conduct another study to identify and evaluate how the organization activities, services, or products impact the environment, for example. And now let's say to meet ISO 45001 requirements, once again, they will need to put aside the core activities to develop a new study, identifying and assessing risks, helping the organization to establish policies to reduce this burden by providing a framework to improve employee safety, for example, as well as to reduce workplace risks and create a better, safer working conditions. All of these isolated initiatives, they promote inefficiency and increase costs to implement and maintain the system. It's not feasible for a company to conduct multiple audits or to have numerous document control procedures or risk analysis processes. These similar requirements create a lot of redundant work once multiple teams and personnel work on similar processes. So, as we've already seen in previous slides, organizations, they often focus on management systems individually, often in silos and sometimes even in conflict. A quality team is concerned with the QMS, or the quality management system. Often, an EHS manager handles both environmental and health and safety issues and so on. So, how can an integrated approach help all of this? The best way for a company to avoid the confusion of meeting multiple requirements and diverse compliance issues within standards is to just integrate them. An integrated management system, or IMS combines multiple management system standards to which an organization is registered. The management systems, they are developed, implemented, and maintained through one system with processes that covers each standard's requirements. Through this approach, organizations can have a single manual for all regulations, for example. Processes, procedures, work instructions, forms, risk controls can all be common. Now, every management system is unique. We all know that. An organization cannot just copy a system of another company or apply standard procedures provided by a consultant. Establishing an integrated system is an opportunity of meeting the company's needs, prevent bureaucracy, and show value to its employees. An integrated management system enables the organization to work as a single unit with unified objectives. Although the terminology is not always the same, several standards are based on the same fundamental concepts. Through the PDCA, all the necessary resources and processes are planned so that the system can operate and the objectives can be achieved. As the system goes live, it is monitored. The available information and data, they are analyzed and actions are taken to improve the system. The process of document control, audit management, risk assessment, nonconformity handling are all identical, and this facilitates the integration between different standards. Another aspect that has facilitated the integration between different standards is NXSL. Developed by ISO, NXSL is an underlying framework that was designed to provide a standardized and consistent approach to implementation, ongoing maintenance, and continual improvement of management systems. Now, you might think of it as an ISO standard for ISO standards, for example. This standardized and consistent framework enables and facilitates organizations to effectively integrate the separate management systems by using a standard template. Used effectively, NXSL can reduce the level of bureaucracy and the amount of resources needed. Where an IMS has been effectively implemented into an organization's business strategy and direction, it will enable top management to ensure effective leadership and commitment while also reducing the amount of duplication processes and activities and therefore time spent on reviewing. This allows for cost saving through the efficient use of resources at all levels and functions throughout the entire organization. An IMS further enables organizations to fully understand their business context and stakeholder obligations and requirements within each specific sector, highlighting regular risks as well as opportunities. A robust IMS enables the organization to identify potential improvements across all of its parameters by providing a holistic view of the entire business, for example, quality, environmental, health and safety, and so on, compared to that achieved under an individual management system. The implementation of an IMS has the potential to reduce the duration of an external audit compared to separate audits being conducted for each registration. This is due to the focus of integrating common processes and requirements, as I mentioned earlier. Your assessor is therefore able to audit against multiple standard requirements while also reviewing one particular process or policy. This makes the audit process much more efficient. By reducing the duration of an audit, you will therefore reduce both internal and external costs that are associated with the audit, as well as minimizing disruption for staff throughout your entire audit period. Now, let's see how SoftExpert software suite can simplify implementation initiatives of different regulatory standards. SoftExpert Suite is the most comprehensive corporate solution for business process excellence and compliance management. It solves critical business excellence challenges into an integrated multi-application environment. With SoftExpert Excellence Suite, Interconnected applications in a single workplace replaces many isolated management systems that addresses only a few aspects of a business, which therefore leads to costly delays, inefficiency, and errors caused by duplicated functionality, a lack of visibility, as well as inconsistent information. Here are some examples of elements that can be integrated. Typically, organizations have similar processes for quality, environment, health, and safety systems, but many use different tools in order to manage it. Employees are required to learn how to deal with different technologies, often work on similar activities such as document creation and approval. For any company, keeping different suppliers for the same purpose is an absolute waste of money. With SE Suite, your integrated management team can standardize in a single process to elaborate, approve, and publish all the documentation required by regulatory standards such as policies, manuals, operational procedures, and many more. When it comes to nonconformities, it won't matter if it emerged from a service, a product, a process, or a supplier. If something related to the quality or environment went wrong with your system, a single treatment process can help you. SE Process allows for the modeling and validation of the processes, ensuring that the occurrences are handled properly. With SE Forms, forms can be associated with the treatment process. It's possible to consolidate a nonconformance report forms into a single electronic form. The fields can be customized according to the management system deployed by the company. A good integrated management system must have policies, procedures, and product or service specifications very well documented before the organization can build and deliver a quality product or service. With an IMS, the number of documents can also be reduced. SE Document is a system for document management that is built with the ability to manage document and records life cycles. The centralized environment also makes it faster to locate information that is needed for your day-to-day operations. The solution includes collaboration capabilities for organizing and managing tasks that are related to your IMS. Through a powerful task manager, it also allows you to electronically approve operational procedures, work instructions, policies, and many more. The system issues alerts and also distributes the necessary documents to all of your stakeholders. The solution manages security and document access as well. Different controls can be set by users or departments to ensure the consistency of your IMS. You can also define templates to, accelerate the creation of your documents. Standardized documentation prevents the occurrence of errors and makes processes less confusing. Nonconformances are triggered when a process, product, or service doesn't meet a defined standard or when it compromises, let's say, the employee's health or the environment, for example. The events can come in the form of deviations from processes, from product defects found during inspections, customer complaints, and many others. SE Suite provides mechanisms to document all of these events. It's possible to capture data that is pertinent to the treatment as well as attach evidence on the deviation. The solution helps solve problems more efficiently by providing a root cause identification tool such as 5 whys and an Ishikawa diagram. When the root cause is identified, it can be corrected or eliminated through a corrective action plan. That way, it will prevent such events from occurring in the future. the SLA is not met, the system automatically schedules the activity to another responsible party according to the rules that you can previously configure. When an integrated management team is responsible for appraising risks for different ISO standards, it becomes clear that there is nothing extraordinary about risk analysis. It is the same appraisal process, but from different business perspectives. The evaluation process may use similar criteria such as severity as well as probability. With SE risk, there is more consistency in understanding, rating, and evaluating risk through a standardized methodology. The assessments are made in a more consistent way. It is possible to track the assessment history and follow the evolution of significance of the risk. The system is natively integrated with the Nonconformities tool, allowing the registration and treatment of all events that are related to this risk that may occur. For significant risks, you can define controls as well as track your entire deployment through the system. Because of this, a single team can conduct the risk analysis for 3 different categories, for example. SE Audit helps you keep the process visible to auditors and gives the capability to manage audit schedules, list of auditors qualified for different audit types, standards, as well as criterias. Through a single checklist, it allows auditing requirements of different regulatory standards. In addition, it also integrates with non-conforming tools, allowing for the registration and handling of all non-conforming items. It also provides the capabilities to generate reports, allowing you to monitor the process as well as track your results. The integrated management team will be able to develop the workforce through a unified effort necessary to produce quality products and services, ensuring the safety of employees as well as preserving the environment. The solution is able to document training requirements that are associated with job functions, for example. By knowing the knowledge gaps that needs to be filled, it becomes a lot easier to plan the training actions. SE Suite ensures proper training for operating procedures, work instructions, manuals, and other materials. It documents and maintains the training records per employee, as well as the costs incurred and the results of the evaluations performed by the participants. It's also possible to perform tests electronically in order to ensure that the information was absorbed by the employees. At the end, it's possible to generate training participation certificates as well. The main aspects related to the integrated management systems can all be followed through portals such as KPIs, documents, nonconformities, and many others. Each employee can customize the panels or even create new ones according to their preference, bringing information that is relevant to them to the performance of their activities. You can navigate through panels and apply filters since all of the elements are interactive. As we saw in the webinar, typically, the fragmented approach requires greater effort and it demands more resources, raising the costs and elevating the risks. This results in productivity loss and makes it more complex to achieve operational excellence. An integrated management system is relevant to any organization regardless of their market. Integrating several management systems into a unified system who share documentation, policies, procedures, and processes makes a lot more sense. Implemented integrated management systems using enterprise software solutions also reduce the number of documents and processes, optimizes the audit schedule, makes the system easier to use, more secure, and cheaper to maintain. On behalf of SoftExpert, I'd like to thank everyone for taking part in this webinar.
Thank you, Gus, and thanks to all of you who took part in this presentation. If you have any questions or would like to get in touch with Mr. Oliveira, please email him at gustavo.oliveira@softexpert.com. For more webinars, please visit our website www.softexpert.com. See you next time.